welcome to Nick's Toy Box. Today we are going to be looking at the amazing Spider-Man Symbiote suit edition from Honō Studio. In case you aren't aware, Honō Studio, aka Honō Studio Collectibles, is a child company of Hot Toys. It's supposed to be a cheaper option slash maybe introductory option for people who want to get into the 1/6 scale. They've done some really cool releases. I think this one is probably one of my favorite that they've done, which we shall go into as we dive into the video. So just take a moment to appreciate some quick run through of what you can expect to see in the packaging before we actually take a look at the figure. Sit back, relax, and get ready for another unboxing and review from yours truly, Nick's Toy Box. So Honō Studios has a record of giving us a backdrop that's supposed to mimic comic book covers that is supposed to attach to the base, but you're supposed to cut it out, which I'm not a huge fan of, and I don't think a lot of people are either. So I'm going to plug in my own comic books, but I show you where it's at and where you're supposed to cut it. Packaging is what you would expect from any 1/6 figure. Here we have the backpack, we have the two eyes, we have some webs, some alternative hands. The stand is going to be right behind it. We actually have a really cool amount of accessories for the price. I think with my shipping and everything, this was about $200. So really not that bad. So without further ado though, let's take a look at the stand that it comes with. I really like it, the matte, smooth finish. I like how simple it looks. I like the little Symbiote Spider-Man printed on there. The white on the outside around the border adds some cool uniqueness to it. This is the backdrop that's supposed to be attached to it, where you would insert that backdrop like I mentioned, or it can fit your own comics. Word of caution, do not put any expensive comics in there. It can't be fitted in with a sleeve, so any comic you put in there is probably going to get worn down over time. I'm putting in some of my cheaper remake comic covers, which you'll see here in a moment, because I do think they look cool, but there's no way I'm putting any of my actual vintage comics in here. But I will say I do appreciate the option that you can put any comic in there. It really levels up the amount of customization. But as you can see, here it is with my comic with no wiggle room in there, so any vintage comic is going to be torn up. But without further ado, let's get Spider-Man and his accessories out on the table. So let's go. As I was saying, we actually get a good amount of accessories for this figure. You get this web backpack. I think we've seen it with the Mayfect Spider-Man as well. There are some small seam lines. Just pointing them out of the way really quick. They're on his back, so you're not really going to notice it. The paint job is really well crafted, and I like the texture to it. The straps are really nice and loose, but sturdy. So you don't have to worry about them ripping. I think you can get a lot of cool options with it if you prefer to use it with your Spider-Man. Spoiler alert, I'm not going to use it with mine. But it is cool. It's actually really sturdy. It feels strong. And like I said, the texturing and everything on it is really phenomenal. But I think the coolest thing that we're taking away from this that everybody loves are these bendable wired webs. And the cool thing, besides the fact that you can do whatever you want with them, you don't see any of the little breathable holes anywhere, which really adds an extra, depth to it to where it doesn't get taken away. So I think that's really cool. And it really makes your options pretty much limited by your imagination with these. I really love them, really well painted and crafted, and yeah, I'm actually really impressed with them. We get some alternative eyes. These ones are my preferred eyes for the two that we have, but it's really cool to get this amount of accessories for a figure like this. But yeah, for the price, we actually get a cool amount of accessories. I love these hands. But I will say, there's a big debate between triangle or no triangle for what it's supposed to be for the Symbiote. I'm going off of the Todd McFarlane comics, which are these squares, so those are the real ones to me. I know you get some debate here and there, you know what I mean? I think Shartimus Prime gets mad because he wants the triangles. But anyways, enough of that. I really like the comic book looking detailed on these hands, the exaggerated ways the fingers are. It's really reminiscent of the comics, which I can really, really appreciate. But yeah, we get a cool amount of accessories. So in case you missed it, we got the thwip hands, we got the fist hands on him, we got the wall crawling hands, and just some kind of relaxed hands. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get him on the turntable, and let's get him spinning with no crazy poses or anything like that. So straight out of the box, just as he comes, he's really cool, man. Like, I'm looking at him right now again, and he's really cool. I know the cloth is going to be kind of divisive for some people. Like, I really, personally, I don't mind. I'll kind of go into my own personal reasons why here in a little bit. But yeah, he's really cool. I mean, like, for a figure that's not that expensive in the term of 1/6, the amount of accessories we get, how sturdy he feels, and his posing options, it's well worth it. And here he is. And come on, man, you gotta admit, this is very sleek looking. Some people say they're gonna use this as the cloth black suit Spider-Man as opposed to Symbiote Spider-Man. You do what you want. This is my Symbiote Spider-Man until maybe one day if we get one from Hot Toys that's gonna use like the Venom skin. But this is perfect for me. Those are the other eyes before I forget to say it. This is perfect for me. I love them. The seam lines are very well hidden. The one from the back of the head that wraps underneath. Got the ones going down to the neck, to the back of the shoulders, that go to his sides, and meet again at his waist, going down past his butt. But otherwise, it's very well hidden. It doesn't take away from anything from him. Of course, that was going to be a big concern of mine, but once I have him in hand, concerns are gone. He's so sleek looking, and he's really muscular. You can see it on his calves and like in his torso area. He's pretty beefed up, which is cool. I can really appreciate it. Just for comparison, here is our Spider-Man 2 black suit Spider-Man. So he doesn't have that shimmer, glimmer, or anything like that, which honestly, for a Honō Studio introduction Type 1/6 figure, I'm not expecting it to be that crazy. But here he is compared to them. They're both awesome figures, but for the respective stuff. That black suit is perfect for the comic books, and that black suit, or the other one, is perfect for the video games. Of course, you know, the detail is going to be infinitely better when we get that kind of textured suit as opposed to the cloth suit. Like I said, maybe one day we'll get one from Hot Toys. I would probably instantly pre-order it. But still, this is a freaking cool figure for what it is and how he looks. And I'm going to tell you why right now I'm biased towards him. Because this right here is one of the Venoms I've had since I was a little kid. So this dude is well pushing over 20 something years old, and it shows. He's got those huge like pecs, so crazy proportioned. His skin and everything's all worn out because this dude has been through it. Absolutely almost no articulation from except for like maybe his legs and his head. But that's why I don't really care. I grew up with this kind of stuff. So it's kind of like when I saw this one, I was like, dude, that's so perfect because I still have my original Venom. They're not going to pose together. But this is why I don't care. Look at this. Another reason why I don't care about cloth, because I immediately knew articulation was going to be through the roof, and it really shows. The head, the cloth is completely separate from the rest of the body, so you can get full swivel, plenty of moving around, nothing to worry about. His arms, everything, the cloth is so forgiving. It's got a lot of play with it, which is freaking cool. I was a little worried for a minute, I will admit, whenever people started getting their miles in, and they had that skin tight kind of cloth like suit, and he was ripping in the crotch areas and stuff. But here's me playing with them, bending them all around all crazy, and I had no issues. He's back on my shelf, and the cloth has tightened back up again. So I think as long as you don't do super crazy poses for like a long time, you should be fine. This is really, really forgiving, and loads of fun for articulation. So if you're somebody who really enjoys toy photography, or just doing really insane poses with your figures, this is definitely one that I think you have to have. Because, once again, it's only limited by your imagination. And they have really improved their hands. And I'll show you what I mean by that. I mean, like, where it meets here, so that cloth is really nice and tucked in at the pegs, so you don't have to worry about it, like, riding up or anything, which I think is absolutely phenomenal. And then all of his hands and everything cover up it completely. It's a smooth transition. So here's some whip hands. I'll just use them for some quick posing. I'm not going to keep on here, and I'll show you why in a minute. Yeah, super easy to snap them on. And I'll go ahead and show you the eyes, which are also equally easy to snap on and off. They're labeled left and right, so you don't get confused, but I don't think you really would get confused. And as I'm swapping them out, I hope you can see why I prefer these other ones. They're really big, they're really exaggerated, they're very Todd McFarlane-esque, they're very comic book-esque, which I love comic books, obviously. And so you get some really cool, wacky proportions with this, which I absolutely love to death. Real quick, get it out of the way, showing you how to put the backpack on. Just push his arms back, let them meet up, which another cool thing the articulation can do. They can go pretty far back and meet up, and bam, there you go. He does look cool with it. In a minute, I'm going to show you another issue on why I don't keep him with it. First big reason is I don't really care for it on there, but the second reason is when I was taking it off, it snagged on one of my shoulders. So it pulled up some of the cloth a little bit, which I will show you in a second. So that is something to be wary about if you are a backpack lover. Luckily, it is really small, but still, I don't know longevity taking this backpack on and off, how that will look. So just keep that in mind, because I'm not going to risk it with mine. Time to see him in action with those bendable wires, so you to get those thwip hands, which can have the web coming out. Man, what a cool figure. But like I said, I don't care for the thwip hands, and I'll tell you why, and this is the reason why. If you know Black Suit Spider-Man, you know they come out from the top part of his hand, and the fists do accommodate for that. Man, these wired webs are so freaking cool and a game changer. I really hope Hot Toys implements them with their line, because this really like brings up the game for them. I had so much fun posing this guy. Even watching this video again, it's like, dang, I might take him off my shelf and maybe do some more posing for my TikTok, just because I just can't get enough of this dude. Recreating iconic poses. That's right, I changed out the background. Once again, this is not one of my original comics. This is one of the remakes that I have. I just got it because it was the foil edition. But he easily pulls this off. But while looking at this, it made me wish two things. I wish we would have gotten a little head clip like Spidey senses, because we've seen it with other figures. And I kind of wish we would have gotten like a blue metallic underneath like we did that Miles, because it really would have given that comic book look of the blue shimmer for the from the shading. That's kind of just nitpicking, because I think this is almost a perfect suit, perfect figure, perfect this amount of accessories for what we get. I'm wrapping up the video. Some final thoughts here. This dude's awesome. If you're able to get him, if you're able to afford him and add him to your collection, highly recommend it. Let me know what you think about him. Love him or hate him. Please like, comment, subscribe, notification bell, share with friends, all those things. Thanks for watching Nick's Toy Box, and I'll catch you next time.